This is a monumental episode 55 of Alternative Fact Chicago. Back again, the number one podcast in the city. This is B Hun once again with the homie B Chan. And how you doing today, B?
B, I'm good. I know you had a crazy weekend. I had a crazy weekend, so I am glad to just get back in our normal routine and get this show.
What the hell happened to you this weekend?
It was crazy. While you were out enjoying Lollapalooza, my husband and I were at a pool party, and he was trying to win some splash contest. And when he jumped in the water off of the diving board, he hit the water in some kind of way and told me, I hurt my foot. I think I broke it. And I was like, whatever. Don't be a big baby. You hit water. What could be so bad? And the next day I took him to the hospital, and sure enough, it's broken. It's got all kinds of problems with it. So
oh my God.
Tomorrow he has to go have surgery. They have to put screws in it. He can't walk on it for like 12 weeks. It's a disaster.
Oh my God. So was he doing a cannonball, or what the hell was he doing?
I don't know what he was doing. A girl ahead of time was trying to give him tips on the best way to make the biggest splash so he could win. And I don't think he was as coordinated as he thought he was. So he wasn't quite able to do whatever he was trying to do. I have no clue, but it's just ridiculous. So here we are now, like 12 weeks of him. I'm like, I have to. Good thing you always make fun of me that I like would trim bushes or mow the lawn. Good thing I'm an independent woman who can do all those things, because now I'm the only one who's going to be doing anything.
Now you really have to.
That's right, and I can do it. So that was me. How about your weekend?
Oh my gosh. Well, at least I guess one thing I can say, that Lollapalooza was amazing. Always a great time in Chicago, but at least you can say that you did not get your Gmail as well as Facebook password stolen and deactivated. So at least you can say that it was absolutely hell getting it back. I won't get into too much detail on that, but I guess I will just leave it at this. Please, if you have an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend, an ex-significant other, please just avoid them at all costs, because things like that just may happen.
I have nothing to say about that.
But let's just say, it was crazy dealing with it. Lollapalooza was amazing. Had to deal with that on Monday. Absolutely crazy day. But I did get my Facebook and Gmail back. So if you want the backstory, please comment or reach out to me offline. We'll get back inside a little bit later. But for now, I do have my Facebook back. For now, at least.
Well, we are glad that you have your Facebook back. I know there was people in the few hours you were gone who were already missing you, wondering where you were. So speaking of Facebook, should we plug our social media, B?
Absolutely. So it's actually been working, plugging our social media. I've definitely had quite a few ads on Instagram and Twitter, so please keep them coming. Mine is BHUN, BHUN 1984 on Twitter and Instagram. And what's your social media, B?
My social media, if you are not already following me, shame on you. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at Starbright312.
Absolutely. So you can find us on Twitter, our podcast page at AFAC Chicago, our Instagram and Facebook is Alternative Fact Chicago. You can always email us, show B and B your business, as well as sponsorship ideas at alternativefactchicago@gmail.com. We're on YouTube at Alternative Fact Chicago. Do not forget we're on Spotify as well as Podbean and Google Play at Alternative Fact Chicago. So many ways to find the number one podcast in Chicago. We appreciate you all following us, giving your support, comments, opinions, and we really love you and appreciate everything.
Yes, we do.
Awesome. So one thing we do know about our show, and we will never, ever just be voices to your podcast app. That's not how we move. That's not how we work. Others may do that, but we like being out, touching the people, whether it's at a concert, event, comedy show, you name it, we may be there just to help build our brand. So with that being said, we're also going to be out touching the people very soon over Labor Day weekend. So we have a big announcement, and B, hit them with that announcement.
We are so excited and honored to be a part of the Great American Lobster Fest, which, as B said, is over Labor Day weekend downtown at Navy Pier. It is the Midwest's largest lobster and seafood festival. So we're just so excited to be a part of this. We will be out there. More details about when exactly we'll be out there over the weekend, but we will be eating some lobster, talking with people, having a good time. And we are also so excited. It is put on by Green Curtain Events, who put on the amazing Wing Out Chicago. They have partnered with us to be able to give away a pair of tickets. So there will be details coming about our giveaway, how you can enter, and how you can win a pair of tickets for yourself for the Great American Lobster Fest over Labor Day. It's going to be awesome. So make sure you listen to the episode for more details, but also follow us on social media. We will be blasting all of that out there so you can find out how you can win.
Absolutely. So that's dope. We love Green Curtain Events. Great, great dudes. Chris Harden is the homie, one of the best guys I know in Chicago. So thanks for the opportunity. I'm not even a huge lobster fan, but seafood is actually growing on me. And I know for a fact I'll definitely be trying out the lobster. I'm sure it's going to be flavored right. The drinks will be flowing. Labor Day weekend is always a fun weekend in Chicago. And I, too, also be at North Coast Music Festival that weekend, too. So it's a big, big weekend for our show. So more details to come. Like I said, I'm glad you mentioned the big giveaway. So we want one of our fans that are in the city, or if you're going to be in town for the weekend, to be able to go and enjoy the event as well. So more details are coming on our social media throughout the week, and definitely the giveaway information next week on episode 56.
And if you are looking for details about it, the website for it is AmericanLobsterFest.com. So you can look. So even if you don't win tickets, you might be interested in coming, hanging out with us, having the lobster. There's going to be live music, drinks, everything like that. So make sure to check it out, but we will have more details.
Now to one of our favorite segments before we get into our topics. And people have been jockeying for this position a lot, and we kind of love it. We love the competition going on it, but we only can pick one each and every week. So, B, who is our fan of the week for this week?
Our fan of the week, this is a very first international one for us. So we have a fan of the week who is listening all the way from Scotland, and she follows us on Twitter, and she'll tweet us, and she'll tweet so that other people in the UK who follow her, it was so cute the one day she tweeted, they're not just talking about Chicago, make sure you listen. So we appreciate it. We appreciate our fans all over the country, and now we can say all over the world. So our fan of the week is Lynn, who's listening in Scotland. You can find her on Twitter. Her name is at Lynn, LYNNTULLOCH. So check her out. Make sure you follow. She's awesome. Lynn, we appreciate you listening. Thank you, and thank you for sharing us with your followers.
Absolutely, and I always see her liking our, posts and things like that. And I'm always wondering, like, who the heck is this Lynn person? So, and it's always good to see, people that I don't know or that are always just following the show and people that actually recommend our show to other people. So I think it's dope. I think it's cool that people from far and away are listening to us. So we really, really appreciate that.
Absolutely. So thank you and congratulations. You're the fan of the week.
I'm ready to get into some topics. How about you?
I'm ready. This first one we've been waiting for.
This one was big news of last night. I know you were very excited about this. I was actually pretty excited about this because I just love behind the scenes look at pro sports. You don't really get to see that aspect of it, but last night on HBO was the episode premiere of Hard Knocks on the Cleveland Browns. Yes, the Cleveland Browns of all teams. And most people wouldn't be excited about the Cleveland Browns, but they have a lot going on with their team right now. So did you, first of all, and I know you probably did, but did you get to watch the show?
Of course I did. I was counting down the minutes to 9 o'clock.
And then two, I know there was a drinking game that you had posted on there. Did you get to play the drinking game? Were you blacked out last night?
Well, within the first 5 minutes, the first one was every time they mention 0-16, finish your drink. Well, I hadn't even started my drink, and they were talking about last year 0-16. So after that, it got a little dicey. But yeah, I just thought it was fun, a fun little drinking game to go along with it. It makes it, things you laugh about. People enjoyed laughing about it and talking about how soon everyone would be dead if they actually played by all of the rules. So the drinking game was fun. The episode was even more fun. Just what an awesome team for them to pick to do this on. So, huge ups to HBO for knowing that this would be such an incredible team to focus on. Who would have thought the Browns? But knowing that there would be so much going on and such a good story. So, first episode was awesome. One of the things I was saying, we had mentioned that it was in the media that there was a QB RV that only the quarterbacks were allowed to go in to watch film and do whatever. So my biggest thing was I was waiting to see if we got to see what was going on inside the RV. And my favorite part was when the fourth string quarterback, Roman
Yeah.
Roback, he's in there. His only job was to stock up all the snacks, and he had to do it right. And if he didn't do it right, it's the wrong snacks and not healthy snacks. So I just thought it was really cute. And I enjoy when you have, I mean, we laugh, okay, he's the fourth string quarterback. He's a professional athlete. So we can laugh and have fun, kind of, make a joke of themselves. I like that. So I thought he was funny. Of course, my guy, Jarvis Landry, I was really excited to see him, and he did not disappoint. He kind of went a little viral with his speech to his team about the guys who were lazy and didn't want to practice. So that was really kind of motivating and inspirational, and it kind of shows you how he's ready to be a leader on the team.
What's up with all his catches, though, man? That guy's a wizard. Catching the ball is ridiculous. He caught
is
everything.
Pull up a tweet. I'm going to pull up a tweet, and I remember it was in May or June because I was in Florida. It's when we were recording. I was in Florida. Somebody was talking about like the top 5 receivers, and somebody was clowning me because I picked. They were like, "Oh, he's not even the best receiver on his team," because they were saying Josh Gordon was better. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to find that tweet and I'm going to pull it out because he will be here. So.
Yeah, go for it. I think.
How about that?
He's always been a great. He's always been a great catcher. I mean, even in Miami, I think it's obviously he always played for a crappy team in Miami that he just didn't ever really get the the press and the notoriety that he deserves. And he probably wouldn't even get that in Cleveland if not for Hard Knocks. I think this is a great way for him to be in the forefront. And he even said the crazy part. He said he's not really vocal. He's a pretty quiet guy. So the fact that even the first few practices he had to essentially cut into all the wide receivers, I thought that was awesome. I thought I was like, man, this guy's. I just love it when players do that, and especially be on a new team. It's not even your team. You want to. Sometimes new players come in and they're quiet. They kind of feel things out. But he came in wide array. You could tell like this the whole demeanor of the Cleveland Browns organization. You could tell they might be ready to pack it in soon. I forgot that they were even 0-16 last season. That's horrible. 0-16
and 1-15 the season
they
before.
The most improved team, and they can do this and they can do that. Well, I mean, no shit. I mean, when you're 0-16, there's really no way to go but up. So I mean, that was a little far fetched. But I'm actually glad that they have a lot better players because they may be decent this year.
Yeah, and new coaching. They have Todd Haley now, the offensive coordinator, so he's going to make some changes and bring kind of a new culture with him. Greg Williams, who I don't like, the defensive coordinator, he'll bring a new culture with him. I think what was really cool, you and I know, are both really big Baker Mayfield fans, but it was really cool to see how hard Tyrod Taylor is working and them saying he's the first one there, he's the last one out, and that's not just like a cliche thing to say, that it's true. So that was really kind of
he doesn't want to get a spot right, so he kind of has to.
Yeah, well, he's doing all right. He's doing all right.
Now.
So,
but I will say, just from kind of comparing the two, I will say just the overall demeanors of both. I like Tyrod Taylor. He seemed cool, has a good personality. But it's just something different when you're dealing with Baker Mayfield. Just this whole presence of just being around people. I don't know. He just has a way more of the it factor to where Tyrod Taylor he has some of it, but I think it's like Buffalo Bills it to where I think. You can just definitely tell Baker Mayfield's like a Heisman Trophy guy where eventually it's definitely going to be his team, maybe even sometime this season.
We shall see.
I could be wrong, but that's kind of like the vibe I got. Also, too, a thing that I had noticed was, with Hugh Jackson, the head coach, the one part in the episode to where, he made the announcement to the coaches when they were watching film that his mom died. And, he kind of mentioned it in passing, and they kind of just blew it over and said, oh, man, she's been going through some things for, quite a while. And they were like, oh, yep. And they went right back to game film. So it was kind of weird that, even when, you deal with, his brother died recently, his mom died, and they kind of skipped right over and went back to playing. Like, it's your parents, it's your mom. The parents died. Like, they're actually gone. And he just brushed it over then. And obviously you could tell later in the episode they kind of came back to it and, he hugged it out and had an actual moment of it. But just in that time to say, oh, my mom died last night. But, what about this film? It's kind of crazy just to think about. I wouldn't be able to hold up that well, but I'll give him credit for doing that.
Well, I think sometimes it goes into the thing that we forget, that these are people. And so they're dealing with real life things. So here's a man who's dealing with the passing of his brother and then his mom. Yet he has a training camp to put on. He has HBO cameras in his face, or NFL films, whoever's putting on. He has cameras in his face. He has to do all these things. But he's a person going through real things. And a lot of times we forget those things when you're talking about celebrities or professional athletes, in this case, a coach. So I do think it is cool that you get an insight to that. I felt really bad for him. You could see it when everyone was kind of gone. and he kind of, let his breath out, and that's when it kind of came over him. So I felt bad, and I think he's a nice guy. Obviously, he hasn't been a successful coach. I hope he has an opportunity to, because I would like to see him succeed. So I'm excited for the Cleveland Browns this year.
I mean, realistically, I don't think they can win more than 5 to 7 games. If they can get to 7 games, that's an amazing season. Probably 6 would be like their cap. But obviously, anything better than 0 is perfect. But I would say the training facility looked awesome. Like the area around looked awesome. I'm definitely rooting for Cleveland. I mean, I think of all teams that need to be good or deserve to be good, because that fan base in Cleveland, man, they deal with a lot. They show up. I mean, they had people cheering for Tyrod, cheering for Baker Mayfield. They had their fans there, so it could just be a Hard Knocks focus they showed up for. But overall, I think hopefully they'll even be a competitive team. But I definitely rather see Baker Mayfield on the field than Tyrod Taylor. No shade to Tyrod, but we got to see Baker out there.
I kind of agree, but we'll see. I think they can win 8 games, so we'll see what happens.
8 games. You're going on a limb and saying that, or
I am
just throwing
saying,
it out there?
I am saying they can. I am saying they can win 8 games.
All right, I haven't seen their schedule yet, so we'll see. But 8 games may be far fetched going from 0, but they will be an improved team. But I'm glad Corey Coleman got traded because, man, that guy was catching or dropping a lot of passes in that opening week.
Yeah, he was ready to go.
He was ready to go. But cool. I love that show. So hopefully, definitely keep watching. Let us know your thoughts on Hard Knocks. But I thought it was a solid first episode. And like I said, I just think it's great to see the behind the scenes look of pro teams, to see what they really go through in preseason. So that's a great show.
I agree. Okay, more football, right?
Let's do it.
Okay, so this crazy story, I know you saw it on ESPN today. I could not believe you when you told me. I said, you are looking at something crazy. I cannot imagine this is true. But it is a power ranking that came out from Bleacher Report today that had the Minnesota Vikings ranked number 1 for the 2018 season. What the heck is going on?
Whoever made this article was on drugs. Had to be, right?
Had to be. Well, what was crazy when I looked at it then, after you sent it to me, because I'm like, this isn't true. Where are you getting this information? After you sent it to me, it looked like it was a merging of multiple different writers who were ranking teams. And so they kind of all came together. So they didn't all necessarily agree that Minnesota was number 1, but this was kind of the consensus they came to, which was insanity.
So basically they're saying that they had essentially the Vikings have the exact same team from last year. They replaced Casey Keenum with Kirk Cousins. So that takes them to the number 1 team in the NFL. Is that kind of how I'm seeing this right now?
Okay, so this is exactly what they're saying. Yes, because I'm like, I need to read the article to find out if they are giving any rationale behind it. So somehow adding Kirk Cousins, okay?
Right.
And then adding, because they were talking about their defense, adding Sheldon Richardson, who went from the Jets to the Seahawks and now is coming to Minnesota this year, who was a locker room mess because he had personal issues with Brandon Marshall.
Right.
I'm sorry. How can you not get along with Brandon Marshall? So you're adding this man who also has been suspended twice. So somehow adding Sheldon Richardson and Kirk Cousins in place of Case Keenum is going to take you to the number 1 spot when you have a defending, and this kills me to say this, so please, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's coming out of my mouth. You have a defending Super Bowl champion team in the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, no.
Who won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. They have their starting quarterback coming back, who, before he was injured in 2017, was likely to be the NFL MVP. He's coming back.
Right.
And they won the Super Bowl without him. And you're telling me somehow the Vikings rank higher than the defending Super Bowl champions? I cannot make any sense of it.
Yeah, this article almost got clowned of the week just for doing that. And I know the Vikings are going to be a good team. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, they made it pretty far last season. They're going to be a good team. But I'm just honestly not a believer in Kirk Cousins, not just because he went to Michigan State, just because I think he's a pretty good quarterback. I'm not sure he takes the Vikings from near Super Bowl contender to the Super Bowl champion. That's kind of where you're saying a Super Bowl or bust for this team. I'm not sure I'm ready to buy that for the Vikings. They did have the Rams, number 2, LA Rams, and actually they're going to have a really good team. They made a lot of changes to that team. They've gotten a lot better, getting like Dominic Sue. They got Marcus Peters. They got Keith Talib, Brandon Cooks. I mean, the list goes on and on of players that they picked up. Going to be a great team. they almost may be too good to where managing a locker room of that could backfire on them. But for beginning of the season, they got to be number 2. I would probably have the Philadelphia Eagles number 1. I mean, they're the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yes.
Carson Wentz is coming back. How could you not? Obviously, New England Patriots, they're number 5 on this list. New Orleans Saints are number 4. Not sure I put them number 4, but if you want to have them there, Drew Brees, okay, that's fine. I probably have the Patriots, even though they did lose some players. Julian Edelman suspended. I will still have the Patriots higher just because, well, hell, it is the New England Patriots. I am a little bit shocked, though, that down the list that the Chicago Bears were 20th on that list, which means to say that people aren't thinking they're going to be an awful team. Not a great team, but not an awful team. And my Lions, I think, are somewhere like 16 to 17, fringe playoff spot. That's probably about right. But I do want to laugh that the Tampa Bay Bucks are listed as the worst team in the NFL. So for all you Bucks fans, wow, you guys are going to have a long, long season.
Well, because you breezed right over it, I have to stop and disagree with you. I am outraged that the Rams are number 2.
In a good way or a bad way?
They should not be. They should be ranked lower than number 2.
Okay.
Yes, they added a lot of players. Yes, I think Marcus Peters, the cornerback from Kansas City, is a great addition. Brandon Cooks, yes, the wide receiver from New England, great addition. But you tell me you want Ndamukong Suh and Aqib Talib in the same locker room? You want those guys on your team? This, I think, is a recipe for disaster. So those are 2 guys I don't want on my team at all.
At all?
Both of them, no, at all. Let alone both of them on the same team under a young second-year head coach. I don't love it. I do not think the Rams. I applaud the Rams for all the moves they made this offseason. I loved them doing it. If I were a Rams fan, I'd be super excited. So I'm not trying to downplay that, but I just don't think all the hype is going to translate to actually, they might win some games, but I don't think it's going to translate to actual success going into and through the playoffs to be tied for the number 2 spot at all. So
I get it.
That. And what I thought was shocking of all of them was the Indianapolis Colts, with Andrew Luck presumably being back this year, ranked all the way down at number 27. So you're telling me they're one of the 5 worst teams. I know they don't have a great defense. They're lacking some talent on defense, but they do have a new really good defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus. But you have Andrew Luck back, who's been a Pro Bowl quarterback when he's healthy.
Yeah, but that was years ago. I feel like people are riding the Andrew Luck train from like 3 years ago. It was a while ago.
But 27?
I mean, that is pretty low. But I would probably have them definitely like 22 or lower for the fact that they have a pretty bad roster. And I know they have a really good quarterback. Andrew Luck could be an MVP candidate, but he hasn't played in quite a while. Like I said, we're still living off of the Andrew Luck of the past, and they definitely just really have a bad team. So can he carry them to 7-8 wins? I'm not sure, but I think in a lot of these rankings are just what you see on paper, not necessarily what you might have seen in practice or anything.
Of course, and of course that's what you're doing. It's preseason. You haven't even seen most of them play a preseason game. So, I mean, you're just kind of doing that. So I do think the most shocking ones to me going into the season, unless something crazy is happening, if you're the defending Super Bowl champion, you should be ranked at number 1 unless something wild has happened. And in fact, it's almost the opposite where you're getting back your starting quarterback. So this might as well rip up and throw in the garbage because I think it's ridiculous. But it will be fun to kind of go back to this ranking. I want to save it, maybe halfway through the year and see where things have fallen.
And I'm scared to ask this, so I'm kind of cringing even doing this. But are you okay with where the Dallas Cowboys are in the rankings? Don't kill me, but just ask.
No, I am okay with where the Dallas Cowboys. They're ranked right about the middle, and I'm absolutely okay with that because you have a Dak Prescott quarterback who's coming off of a sophomore year that was not as great as his first year. You have a lot of unproven wide receivers. You have a young defensive secondary. With that said, as someone who's a Cowboys fan, so I follow what they're doing much closer than I follow any other team. They're doing a lot of good things, and I think that they're going to surprise a lot of people. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan, but I absolutely understand. I think that they do deserve to be ranked right in the middle because, again, none of these players, and certainly players playing together, have been proven to be anything better than that. So I think that was fair.
Absolutely. So I'm just excited. Football's back. So we're going to have football on whether college or NFL from now till January?
Forever.
So I think it's just
Forever.
about time. Like I said, we're definitely in the dog days of summer with just baseball, only baseball. So I'm actually glad it's coming up. But I don't think we'll do it yet. But are you ready to make a Super Bowl prediction, or do we need a few more weeks of preseason to make that decision?
Yeah, I think we have to wait until the week before the season starts because, I mean, don't forget 2 years ago, preseason is when Tony Romo got knocked out. You don't know what's going to happen in injuries and training camp and preseason. So I think wait to let those things shake out and take a look at who teams have on their final roster before the decisions.
Absolutely, absolutely, I agree. So we got one more topic to discuss on the sports front before we get off of this. But before we do that, B, I think we need to pay a little bills. How about that?
I think we should. One of our favorite sponsors, and our friend Madeline. This portion of the show has been sponsored by Posh by Imani. Get poshed. Looking for the latest and trending in women's fashion? Shop today at Posh by Imani, catering all curves, sizes 0 to 3X. Free 2-day shipping now until the end of the year. PoshByImani.com. Come get served. Find us on Twitter at Posh by Imani. That's PoshByImani.
There you go. I think you're getting good at that.
A little practice has paid off.
There you go. There you go. So we appreciate you, all the support, and anytime you guys want to be a sponsor for the show, we're always looking for more. Please just email us at alternativefactchicago@gmail.com. Now, so this actually is a story that just dropped a few hours ago, and I'm glad we actually caught it before it's a little bit too late. But I know we've seen a lot of talk about the NCAA, college basketball, the eligibility of player rules, using with agents, postseason bans. Can you go to the league? Can you not go to the league? But as of today, there's actually been a ruling that comes out that makes things just a little bit better for players. That just says that now. I'm just so trying to put up the article, so sorry about that. So now, effective immediately, NCAA will allow college players to be represented by specific certified agents of the NCAA to help represent them as they go along in their NBA and professional basketball search. And then two, another thing that's a big deal is that now, even if you do hire an agent and do not make the NBA or a certain team or pro basketball team of your choice, you do have the option of going back to college basketball. Before, whenever you hire an agent, no matter what, whether you get drafted or not, you're done. You can't go back to play college basketball. Now you can sign an agent and still be able to go back. So I think this is a huge change, a step in the right direction. This will not fix all of the problems, but this is a brief step in the right direction. Before I give my thoughts on it, what's your thoughts be on this whole situation that's come about today?
I think it is fair to say it's a good change, but it is absolutely important to say it's a tiptoe step towards what really needs to happen. So a couple of the things that I have are the questions, maybe concerns that I have as this is coming out. Is first of all, they said it will be something that is eligible to players who are determined as elite prospects by the USA Basketball. So first of all, that's giving USA Basketball a lot of power in this to make that determination. And I'm wondering what goes into determining who is going to be classified as elite versus who's not, because those are the players who are going to have this option, first of all. Second of all, my question is this. So they're going to be able to hire an agent, but if these prospects are actually determined to be elite, they're really not going to have any trouble being drafted. If they're elite prospects, they're probably going to get drafted anyway. So what good is it to have an agent to get drafted when really players would want to hire an agent so that they can benefit from endorsements, so they can be paid for their likeness? So what are these players, if they're already determined elite, already probably going to be drafted, what good is having the agent if we're still not going to allow these players to benefit from endorsements?
Right.
So you're saying, yes, you can hire this agent, but in reality, they don't need an agent if they're elite players entering the draft. In reality, they want an agent so that they can make deals and benefit from their likeness. So I think that's interesting to go ahead and say that they can do this, but then really not think about why they would want to do this. And that's where I think it's kind of like a little bit of a pacifier. Like, yeah, you can do this because then it'll look good and it makes a big splash and it's a headline like this, but we're not really getting to the problem. So that's how I look at it. And then the last thing that made me laugh, and I wonder if you believe if this was in response to LeVar Ball, and if everything he's doing with the junior league has been the catalyst to these changes.
I definitely think it is. It's definitely trying to counter what he's doing, essentially trying to get that league right up out the paint. So this is definitely a way to do that. And like you said, I think there's still a lot of gray area, with this rule. This definitely helps. But what constitutes an elite player? Like, do you have to be a top 20 player, top 25, top 50? What's the criteria? So we need some answer on that. And then two, what if every single year from your freshman year to senior year, a player, they can sign with an agent every single offseason, see about going to the draft. If not, just fire that agent and go back. So we need to see. There's still a lot of gray areas, some things that need to be figured out. I feel like this is, like you said, a little step in the right direction, almost like a pacifier, like you said, for what's really going on. But I still think we don't have a lot of questions answered. And then two, still goes back to the fact we still got to pay these players, pay them for their likeness in college. I don't even care about endorsements, but for all the money that they're bringing to these schools, and I'll say that I'm blue in the face for football and basketball, not necessarily for other sports, especially like big schools that are bringing all this money. We still got to be paying these players. And until they do that, all the problems still really aren't fixed. So I think this is a Band-Aid for the time being, a step in the right direction, but I still think there's still a little muddy waters and there's still a lot of gray area. And we got to figure out what constitutes an elite player, like who really is considered an elite player or who is not.
I agree. That's my biggest concern at this point.
Yeah, it'll help. Yeah, like I said, it'll help for now, but still a lot of questions that need to be answered. But pay those players, man, while they're in college. And if you do that, they may not have to leave and go to the NBA early if you pay them a substantial amount for actually their services in college sports. But that's just me.
I agree.
You actually agree? You don't disagree? Well,
No,
I thought
of course I
thought
agree.
you were ready to go ham on me for that. That was pretty easy.
For not paying them? No. I think we're on the same. I actually, maybe we can have some listeners. I'd be interested if there's anybody who can defend the fact that these players should not be paid or compensated in some way. I'd be interested to the argument to that, because all I've ever heard is people who like to say they're getting a free education. But
Oh, yeah.
I really want to know if there's anybody out there who truly believes the amount of money that these schools are making and the amount of money that these coaches are making. If anyone truly believes or has a valid argument why these players should not be compensated in some way.
Yeah, I think so. I actually had a status about this, and
interested.
someone did comment recently that exactly what you said. They get a free education for playing a sport, so they feel like that should constitute enough. But I think at the end of the day, yeah, you may get a free education, but a lot of those guys don't even stay 4 years to get the full amount for that free education. And then when you get that stipend on campus, the stipend for the semester is usually like $1,000 to $1,500, which doesn't last long. So I mean, for the amount of money they're really bringing to school, millions upon millions of dollars, they should get a lot more than that. But that's another topic for another day, and definitely open to getting your thoughts, from the fans on and what you think is the best policy right now.
And also, let's not forget, there's plenty of students who get a free education just for being intelligent and going to that school. So
Right.
It's not like athletes are the only people getting scholarships. There's people who
Absolutely.
get scholarships just for being intelligent. So, all right. With that said, switching gears a little bit from sports, so all of our listeners who are not into sports are like, please stop already.
Sorry about that, fans. We get it.
Sorry about that. A lot going on. There was some news coming out today, actually, in regards to the Oscars, that they're looking to change the way that they do their show because they know they are boring everyone to death, and they've lost the interest of the people watching at home. So some news coming up for next year's Oscars is that they're looking to change it to shorten the show, to make it a 3-hour show, which still seems so long, and to add certain ads to it, including an award for popular films. So I know you and I were talking before the show that I think the first episode I ever hosted with you was after the Oscars this past year. And you were like, did you watch it? And I'm like, I haven't even seen any of those movies. And
Wow.
so they're talking about adding a popular film award, which, for next year would include movies like Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Deadpool, things that everyday movie watchers might be more interested in. So it seems like they're kind of looking to get some people more interested and engaged. What do you think about these changes?
So I think overall, I think just the whole boring formats of a lot of these award shows is what kills people. And yes, a lot of these big movies most people don't see. They announce the awards and they force you to watch them beforehand just to make sure you have some context to what they're going to be showing at the Oscars. And a lot of those movies, I talked about this, with this girl, one of my friends the other day, and like a lot of those movies just really aren't even that good or even worth being mentioned for, best picture, this and that and the other. So it's not just the Oscars. We're talking about other award shows too, even with the Grammys. the format is just so boring. Like even when they have, a lot of their, the performances that they do for the Grammys, just sleepy pop ballad songs that on a Sunday night after a long weekend and you're getting ready for work Monday. I don't want to be put to sleep by boring performances. So I think just the format of all of these shows need to change up. A lot of times when you watch award shows, yes, you want to see who wins the awards. A lot of people watch for the performances. You need hyped up performances. You need engaging performances. People are gonna make you get out of your seat. Just be more turned up. I will say one award show that does a great job, I think, of all is the VMAs, and I think they figured out the pulse of what to do. They just the whole format, like the camera angles that they do. They have a lot of performances, a lot of hype performances. They don't just do ballads. I think you just need to really focus on that 3 hours, just keeping people engaged and making sure it's actually awards that people actually care or want to see, or actually people on the TV screen that you care or want to see. But I could care less. Like I said, every year the Oscars come on, after like 20 minutes, I'm bored with it and I'm going to watch something else. So they need to change up the format because the Oscars got the worst ratings, I think they said. Not necessarily of all time, but in a long time. So that's a big problem. People just don't have the attention span in the social media age to sit and watch TV for 4 hours. It just doesn't happen anymore.
And I think when you have a time like we're living in now where people are so excited about movies, certain movies, it's a shame to think that an award show revolving around films could be so underappreciated when people are probably at their most excited about films that are coming out. So hopefully they'll tap into that and kind of rejuvenate it.
What's your favorite award show to watch if you actually have one?
Oh gosh, music award shows more than anything. Not necessarily even the Grammys. What did we watch a couple months ago? Was it the Billboard Music
Yeah, the
Awards?
Billboard Awards are pretty good.
That
this
was
year.
one of the best award shows I remember in a long time. And I would never normally think to name. I would never even remember watching the Billboard Music Awards, but I remember watching it, you and I, and going, you know what, that was a really fun one. So definitely music awards more than anything, but that one was one of the better
And you want to know
ones.
why? Because the performances were energetic. Kelly Clarkson did a great job. She had a lot of good jokes. She performed a lot. It was just a very upbeat few hours to where I think the VMAs does it as well. When it's just sleepy and they got like the harmonica or the piano playing in the background from the Oscars for hours on a Sunday night, I'm going to sleep. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to keep me awake. So you got to be what's in tune with what's going on in 2018. So you got to switch that up. So I'm glad they're at least noticing that they got some things to change because those ratings are in the tank.
And for the record, B Hun is not into the harmonica.
No, I'm definitely not into the harmonica.
Okay.
That's funny.
Well, we will be waiting for early winter, early spring, whatever, whenever the Oscars come on to see if it's any better, but it probably won't be. Moving on to more important things about our city.
Everything's Chicago, man. That's what's up in our city. It's been a hell of a week in our city. A lot's happened. We haven't been shot, thank God, but a lot of people have, which is kind of sad.
It's been a rough couple days, a rough weekend. Couple of things first. We've mentioned it before. We've put it on social media. Our first inventory of our Alternative Facts Chicago shirts are almost gone. Those are T-shirts. We do have some left. We will be placing another order. So if you're interested in any of our T-shirts or ups, let us know so that as we place the next order, we can make sure we have the size and style you're looking for. So reach out to us on social media or email, and we'd love to get you one of those and get a picture of you in it because we love to see everybody wearing their Alternative Facts stuff.
Absolutely. And please, if you don't comment or come to me or us about a shirt, how are you going to get one? I've got so many people like, oh, well, where's my shirt? Oh, did you ask me about the shirt that you wanted? Like, I'm not just going to know that you want a shirt if you don't ask me. Like, I don't have time to go around and just assume people want shirts. And for the last time, I'm not going to mention this again. You're not getting your free T-shirt. You have to pay for it. I'm sorry if you're my friend for 20 years. We aren't going to make money by giving away 100 free T-shirts. So I'm sorry. It's not going to happen.
B Hun is not with the games.
No, I mean, it's pretty annoying. Like, I understand you're my homie, but we do this for a reason. And if everyone got a free shirt, we would be losing money at a record amount. So it's just not going to happen. So please, just stop asking.
Yeah, I hope the homie doesn't know whoever it is that you're talking about.
Oh, there are a lot of homies they know, but it's okay.
Okay, well.
But get a shirt, please. Thank you.
This week, we had some sad news about a Chicago legend, the passing of Stan Mikita, who was the Blackhawks all-time scoring leader. He has scored 1,467 points with the Chicago Blackhawks. He passed away at the age of 78. So there is definitely a lot of sadness from Blackhawks fans and Blackhawks players. Anyone who's followed the team, he was definitely a Blackhawks icon. So we just wanted to pay a moment to give our respects to him because he's done a lot for the city and for the team.
It was funny that I saw that headline, but I was like, I don't even know who that is. But that, in my defense, that was before my time. I was not even anywhere close to Chicago, but heard he did great things for the city, for the team. So definitely rest in peace.
Well, yeah, that's terrible. You should be ashamed to admit that.
How would I know who that is?
Because he's the all-time leading Blackhawks scorer. Also, if you ever saw the movie Wayne's World, one of the things in it was like a Stan Mikita's donut shop. I know it's been a really long time since I saw the movie.
Absolutely.
But Wayne's World had like Stan Mikita's donut shop that was like in Aurora. P.S. Shout out A-Town, Aurora, Illinois, where I grew up.
A-Town?
A-Town.
Oh my God, you call Aurora A-Town?
I am not the only one. Everyone from Aurora calls it A-Town. Wait until the messages start rolling in from all the people in A-Town.
A-Town?
But that's where Wayne's World took place, in Aurora, Illinois. So anyway.
Yeah. I don't even think. Well, actually, no, a lot of our friends will know Wayne's World. Well, that was so long ago.
I know, but it was like a little. What do you got, B?
I get it.
What do you
Can
got?
we get to some Lollapalooza review?
Let's do it.
About the Wayne's World. All right, cool. So, Lollapalooza this year was an amazing event, and everyone knows I've been on it. It's been a B-Hun Summer Music Festival tour. I think this is my 6th music festival of the summer. I have one more to go for North Coast. I'm actually almost kind of ready for it to be over because it's exhausting, but it's a lot of fun in the meantime. I think I texted you Monday. I was like, oh my God, I survived another one. These ones are getting tougher and tougher every weekend to get through.
It's because he's getting older and older.
No, it's just a lot. It takes a lot of it. There's a lot of fun, very blast, but I don't think I've ever been to these many festivals in the summer at once. But it does take a lot out of it. Just the walking around, so just the music. It's just a lot. But I will say, Lala does it great. I mean, just the sheer size of the festival. It's very long to get through. I mean, it's like a couple miles long going from one end to the other. But the stages are huge. You can see from almost anywhere. I did go a couple of days this weekend. The weather was absolutely beautiful in Chicago. In terms of, I would say, top performances that I saw for the weekend, I would say in regards to on the EDM side, Zed did a great job. Sunday Night Odessa did a great job in regards to hip-hop. I saw some Lil Uzi Vert. Man, that guy's a rock star. People were going crazy for him. Gucci Mane is a very lazy performer, but he did all of his hits, all songs that we know, so it was actually cool, dope thing to see. Logic is an amazing live performer, so you can't really hit on Logic. That was dope too. I did not go Thursday, so I did not get a chance to see Travis Scott, but obviously he's one of the best live performers out there. I did get to see some of Bruno Mars. He tore it up. He was great. I did not get to see The Weeknd, but some people said that he really wasn't that good. I mean, it was kind of like a slower performance for what you see at a music festival. But obviously, The Weeknd still did good. He does all his, best performances too. I think it's the best part overall, just like the vibe of the, the crowd. People of all shapes and sizes. They got like a kids palooza stage. There's some sets for senior citizens. So I mean, it's just people of all sizes, ages. There, it's just an overall dope vibe, a dope event. One of the better weekends of the summer that I'm always happy to say that I can go. So if you've never been to Lollapalooza and you're listening for this, no matter whether your favorite artist is booked or not, please make a point to come when you're in B-Chan. You got to go to Olala next year. You got to suck it up and start doing these things because they're a lot of fun.
Okay, B.
You got to. No, okay, B, but you got to go. You're not just gonna swindle on by this one and say okay and not go. You got to start going. I think maybe a small one, like a North Coast or something. I think you can start with something like that. Lala is a lot. It's a lot to get through, but North Coast or something I think would be a little bit better for you.
Maybe B. Maybe.
Ask Shelly, one of our best fans. Shelly will tell you about music festivals. She loves them. She can.
I will say this. I felt in all the busyness. I missed Shelly's birthday. I think it was Friday. She was out working the festival with your guy, Machine Gun Kelly. So hold on. I do want to give a shout out to Shelly. She said she had the best weekend of her life at this music festival. So I'm so excited for her that she is living her best life and
She is.
just doing the things that make her happy. I
She
know, I
is.
love it.
She is. And shouts out to MGK. MGK is one of the only rappers in the world who has his own music festival, 5 years running. I think Drake's one of the only other ones that does. It's a very underrated. A lot of people don't talk about it, but it's actually a great feat that he did that. He had 2 Chainz co-headline with him the other night. So shouts out MGK. Yeah, it's a dope festival that he puts on in Ohio. And the shitty part about it, it's always the same weekend as Lollapalooza, so I can never go. But I definitely want to get to ESC Fest one year because I heard it's dope.
I gotta ask Shelly. I wonder if 2 Chainz sang the birthday song for her at the festival.
She'll listen to the episode and she'll give her thoughts.
So I know her thoughts are awesome. So happy birthday, Shelly. Moving on. So we know a lot of people love this show on HBO, Shameless, or Showtime. Is it Showtime? Yeah, it's on Showtime.
Yeah, it's on Showtime.
Do you watch it?
I do watch. I have not watched the most recent season, but I'm definitely a Shameless fan.
Okay, people love Shameless. Shameless is filming in Chicago. Just Tuesday, they were filming outside of the Art Institute, and they will be filming here in some other locations. They typically film in Chicago, I guess, 2 weeks a year. Otherwise, they're on a set in Los Angeles. But they will be filming scenes this week at Pingtown Memorial Park in Chinatown, the Riverwalk, the Park by Navy Pier, and at the Michigan Avenue Bridge. There will be cast and not just extras. It will be like the big name cast will be out there. So keep your eyes peeled. I know they've been here for a little bit, filming different things. There's some pages you can follow that talk about what's filming in Chicago. But this is pretty cool. So if you're out and about downtown, take a look, see where they're going to be, and you might be able to see them filming your favorite show.
Absolutely. I would love to see it. They're kind of dope. But Shameless is a great show. It's been on for a long time. It's actually, filmed a lot of it in Chicago, parts that we walk around every single day. So cool show. It just seems like real to what Chicago actually is, but it's been very successful. So I'm proud that show has done very well.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And this next one, in regards to the city is a little bit of a sad one. It's just problems that are ongoing for quite a while. So we will not touch on this too long because we don't like to focus on the negative energy in the city of Chicago. But, obviously most recently, just this past weekend, in just a record amount, this has not happened in quite a few years. So please, fans that do not live in Chicago, don't think this is something that's just the norm in Chicago right now. The crime rate has actually improved, I think, over 20% year over year since like 2014. So things are improving. For some crazy weekend, I'm not sure if it's because it was Lollapalooza or what, but this past weekend, over 70, I think 4 people were shot in Chicago within a 3-day time span between Friday at 3 p.m. and 6 a.m. Monday. 12 fatally. And what they're going to do to help out with this, which I guess is a good thing, is that over 430 extra police officers are going to be sent to Chicago and over 600 by this upcoming weekend to kind of combat, what's going on in this past week. And the crazy part about it seems like it's only going to be in 5 different districts, 3 districts on the west side of the city, 2 districts on the south side of the city. And they said at one point, I think on Saturday or Sunday, like over 40 people were shot in like a couple-hour time span, which is absolutely crazy. It's very, very sad, and I don't even know what to say about that. It's like it's just a big issue when these things happen. It's clearly gang violence. I'm glad they're doing something by extracting more police force to kind of help with this in the process. If it'll fix things or not, I'm not 100% sure, but that's a step in the right direction. We're going to talk briefly about, these Lakeshore Drive and other protests to try to help it. Clearly, these protests aren't really helping at all because, overall, these things, these shootings are still just happening. And it happens in the deep part of the summer. Everyone's out for the summer before summer break, and it's just crazy. But what's your thoughts on this, B? Because right now, it's a big problem.
It is a problem, and you are right to point out that we are at a 20% decline of homicides from a year ago. So that's great. I am happy to see a larger police presence right now, which really is a Band-Aid. And so we can't talk about these things without talking about some of the other things that have happened. So we know that the mayor of this city has shut down a record number of schools. We talked about it earlier this year in an episode, 52 schools that were shut down. We know that they have shut down mental health facilities. We can't talk about the crime and we can't talk about a police presence unless we're talking about the pieces that lead up to this. And it's hard to look at a big picture, and it's easy to say we don't know how to fix this, but we certainly can say we know what isn't causing. So closing down schools is not helping. Closing down mental health facility is not helping. So we need to take a look and see how we can do more of those positive things and see if it helps. No one says it's the answer. No, it isn't the problem. And so I think taking a look at those things and the protests, no, they may not be helping right now. It's not an immediate fix. But again, if we start to look at what those protests are asking for,
Right.
they're asking the right resources to try to make better changes in these communities, that's important too. So, as we've said, we don't have the answers. We don't like to dwell on this, but we also do have to be realistic about it and realistic about what kinds of things could be causing it and what kinds of things we would like to see changed to see if it could help. So.
Absolutely. And kind of speaking off of that, there's another story that's going out. And obviously, we talked about this last week about, the Lakeshore Drive, protest where it shut down Lakeshore Drive leading up to Wrigley Field right before the Cubs game. That's last week. And I guess it went off without a hitch. It was funny because I was actually taking an Uber. I was going north. Actually, I was going south when they were going north or something like that, one way or the other. And you can see like the people that were protesting right on Lakeshore was crazy. Couldn't get video at the time, but I wanted to. And you can see there was cops like all lined up in a row to try to like block them, headed their direction. It was a crazy sight to see, but went off without a hitch. Thank you. It was peaceful. But right now what they're doing is they're already planning another one that was going to take off on Labor Day weekend. That an article I just saw, and they were actually going to shut down the Kennedy headed towards O'Hare over Labor Day weekend. Clearly what they're doing, these advocates are trying to pick times when it's actually going to be absolutely worst traffic, just to basically, not to say ruin people's day, but just cause a big issue to kind of protest for the problems that are happening. What had happened is that March Drive organizers T.O. Hardiman and Reverend Greg Livingston have already gone separate ways over this. They're beefed out. I guess one person doesn't really want to go through with this plan, said it's not a good idea to do this over Labor Day weekend. And the cops are saying that if you do this over Labor Day weekend, this time it's actually going to cause arrest. So you can't just cause harm to traffic all this time, especially on busy weekends like that. It's going to cause a big problem. One person wants to do this. Hardiman said plans for the protests, were made without his approval, to where the other guy said that he wants to go forward with this. So sounds like one person is overstepping the boundaries over another. Big mess. So it's just kind of sad to see, like, overall, you do something like this, you think it's for the good, and these guys can't even get it together to agree on what's going to happen. So what's your thoughts on this story, V? But it sounds like that partnership is already over.
Yeah, that's too bad, assuming they want the same things. It's too bad they couldn't work it out. But obviously, again, people have different ideas of what's working or the best way to approach it. And so, it's understandable to say, I think we have the same message, but we might want to go about it different ways. And so something like that takes a lot of commitment. We can't understate how much work and energy and love people are putting into these sorts of things. So if your heart's not in it or you don't completely agree with the direction it's going,
Right.
you certainly can't be a part of it. So I understand that. I hope they'll both continue to try to do the work that they want to do to see positive change, because that's what we need. But I certainly understand, if their heart's not in the direction it's going, why they're not going to.
Yeah, it sounds like just can't agree on the logistics of it and like the motives of everything. Where it sounds like one person is doing it to kind of get political gain, or just to riot in the city to say like he did these, this. Where the others actually trying to do it for the good. So I mean, there's two sides to every story, but it's unfortunate they had to break up this partnership. But they had a great idea, maybe just wasn't the best execution. But in the meantime, we still have a big crime rate right now that we need to fix. But for all those that don't live in Chicago, you're getting the wrong picture. Chicago's not that bad. It's only certain parts of the city. You come to downtown, you never have to worry about your safety. It's an amazing city. It's been an amazing summer. So all the things you believe, please don't believe everything that you hear on the internet, because it's not necessarily true.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So that's been everything Chicago. It's been a crazy summer in Chicago. I'm actually kind of ready for the kids to go back to school, because some of these things will settle down. But in the meantime, we'll move on and get to quick hits. But before that, I think we should pay one more bill here. So right now, this portion of the episode is sponsored by the Wrigley Report. Cubs fans, if you're looking for the latest Wrigley renovations, updates, team news, player analysis, and overall Cub news, look no further than the Wrigley Report, your number one source for all Chicago Cub news. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter on their handle at Wrigley Report. And shout out to my homie Jason, getting ready for the end of the season. I know they're ready for the Cubs run. I'm ready for the Cubs run, being on this side of town, and we can't wait to see what they do in the upcoming playoffs.
Gonna be exciting.
Absolutely. So you ready to get into some quick hits?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. So we were going to talk about this earlier in the actual segment, but we're kind of running out of time here, so we kind of switched it here. But this past weekend in music was a ton of albums, ton of singles that I got dropped. But briefly, I want to get your thoughts on the top 3 albums, or at least of the top 3 albums dropped this past weekend. What was your favorite between Travis Scott, YG, Mac Miller, and why?
Mac Miller was my favorite. And I would say going into this, I wasn't a huge fan of any of them. I know people love Travis Scott. I get it. I understand he's talented. He's just not my style. So I listened to it because I wanted to hear his album. I wanted to really like it. I didn't love it, but that didn't surprise me because people just have different style and you know what you like and you know what you don't. So I think it was probably an amazing album. I'm sure people who like his style loved it. It was fine. But Mac Miller really kind of surprised me. I thought his album was really good. A couple really good tracks. Felt like it was a really honest, like heartfelt. You could connect to some of the stuff, yet it was still like kind of good vibey music. It wasn't like too introspective. It was just like a little bit of everything. And I like that. And I like his flow. And yeah, Mac Miller was my favorite.
There you go. There you go. So my favorite overall, I did like Mac Miller's album. It has like a soul type of hip hop vibe to it. And I love the fact that he's going that direction with his music because it's different. I don't like doing like the white rapper, black rapper lane, but in terms of the white rapper lane, he's the only one in that lane doing that. So I think it's a good move for him. I thought it was a well put together album. Not necessarily something I would necessarily play again. I'm not a huge Mac Miller fan, but I thought it was a dope album. Overall, I would say sonically, from beginning to end. I know you're not going to agree with this necessarily, but I would say Travis Scott overall had the best album, and this is for this reason. I'm not a huge fan of auto-tune, listen to it for a whole album, but I think the features that he had, the features were placed properly. All those that did features did an amazing job with their feature to where it added to the album very well, to where just listening to Travis Scott on his own I wasn't that impressed with, but I think the features made up for the album, and I think he has enough hits to actually carry him through that album for the next year, even so to the point where it's going to sell damn near close to 500,000 copies in the first week, which is superstar status. His sales, like pure album sales in the first week, are going to pass Drake for the first week. When I was surprised, I didn't think Travis Scott was that huge, but he's clearly a superstar. Like I said, I thought it was a good album. I think I like it a little bit better than his last album, so I think this one will be critically acclaimed. Sorry, YG. Didn't really feel it. Wasn't really for me, but I get the West Coast vibe. He's had better albums, but I'm going with Travis Scott on this one.
Yeah, and I don't think you're alone, and that's where I can acknowledge if my taste is a little different. It's nothing against Travis Scott, but you know ahead of time what you like, and when someone has a really specific sound, you kind of know. And Travis Scott has a really specific sound, and
Yep.
so if you're into it, you're gonna like it, and if you're not, you can respect what it is, but it's probably not going to be anything. It certainly isn't anything I will play again, but I listened just so I could.
Absolutely.
All right. Your show, Big Brother, season 20 is only in the middle of the season.
It is.
It seems like it's been going on forever. But what's your mid-season prediction?
I think they're in the house for 9 weeks. It's a long time. Like they actually make you earn your $500,000 if you win. But in regards, we're just getting to for all the Big Brother fans. I know there's a lot of people that listen that actually watch Big Brother. So I know they're like, why don't we talk about Big Brother more? Only reason I don't talk about it every week is because B Chan decided to not watch it when I told her she had to. So and she's just stubborn like that. She won't ever do it when I ask her to. So it's okay. But she's gonna have to listen to Big Brother talk sometime. So in regards to midseason, where we're at right now, who I think is doing well, I think Tyler is by far and away playing the best game. I think he's going to survive this week. I'm very surprised at the game Haley is playing. I think she's doing a very good job. Angela is sneaking up on me. I think she's doing a very good job. Sam was doing a good job, but I think she's a little bit annoying. JC's also doing a good job being a floater. Right now, I think if we had to pick a top 3, I'm going to go with Tyler, JC, and probably Angela. I think Casey doesn't do too much, but I think she's doing good being quiet, but I don't think she'll win. But if I had to pick a winner at this date, right this moment, I'm going to go with Tyler. I think CBS loves him. He's very popular. I think he's playing the best game, and I think he'd be a person that could represent the show as a winner. But like I said, we're only halfway through the season, so only time will tell. What's your thoughts, B?
Exactly that. I can, as I'm going over the quickest, I'm like mid-season prediction. How is it only halfway done? So that's my thought.
So long. It'll be over. I think it's over like around or after Labor Day.
Oh, goodness.
There we go. Next up, so this is a quick one, but it's actually kind of fun that we had to mention this. But Pusha T obviously had the whole beef with Drake earlier this year, dropped his album, very critically acclaimed. But with that being said, Pusha T had to cancel 9 of his 19 North America tour stops due to poor ticket sales. So maybe it looks like a lot of fake love from all his fans. So did Drake ultimately win the war here, B?
I don't know if Drake won the war. I don't even know what the war was, but I will say this. You and I often like to refer to social media as fake life. And this is the epitome of fake life. Because if you scroll down your Twitter, all you saw was every dude in the world who loved Pusha T and rocked with Pusha T and Pusha T this and Pusha T that. Well, where were you when he's trying to sell tickets?
Absolutely. I agree.
I don't have a problem. I have no issue with Pusha T. It makes no difference. As we know, I didn't listen to the album because of my Kanye boycott, but it had nothing to do with Pusha T. So I'm not like gloating in him not being able to sell tickets, but I just think it's hilarious that you would think Pusha T was the best guy and Daytona and this and Daytona that and best album of the summer and rocking with Pusha T since the clips and all this, but nobody is buying tickets for his show. So fake life wins again. Don't believe everything you read on Twitter.
Never. And, Pusha T's a dope artist, but like I said, I wouldn't want to see him in a show. I wouldn't want to see him on tour. And he's great lyrically. People say his albums are so good, but I don't think I can name 5 Pusha T songs, and I listen to all of his music. So I just don't know if his music has replay value, and that's why I don't think people want to go see his shows. So like you said, it's definitely fake life.
Or maybe it hasn't gotten the promotion that it needed. There's been some question about the rolling out and the promotion of the albums that have come out from that label this summer. So maybe it hasn't been managed as appropriately as it should
Yeah,
have
that
been.
too. But like I said, a lot of times you can not have great publicity and management, but still have your core fan base want to go to your shows. I know a lot of artists that
Right.
don't get a lot of publicity, but their shows still sell out. So I just don't think
Yeah.
people rock with Pusha T like they really claim they do on social
Like
media.
they claim they do. Fake life. Okay, so Ohio State, the subject of our whole last show, they expects to end Urban Meyer inquiry within 14 days. Do you think Urban Meyer keeps his job?
I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. I still think he's gone. I think it's still only a matter of time. I think they're still trying to figure out an alternative route or another coach to be hired or what they're gonna do, or maybe they're trying to let the dust settle on this for here a little bit. But I can't change my stance. I still think Urban Meyer has coached his last game as an Ohio State Buckeye, and if that changes, I will come on here and publicly apologize for being wrong.
Um, I don't want to knock your socks off here, but I agree with you.
Oh,
I
shit.
have, yeah, look at us. I have a very good friend, a loyal listener to the show, who told me, and I quote, she's a very big college football fan. Meyer would have to literally beat their own wives on the field to lose their jobs.
Wow.
And that was her stance. And I don't necessarily think she's wrong overall. However, I think Ohio State's just in a position where there's just been too many cover-ups, too many problems, too much scandal, and they don't want to be a part of it. And so I do think Urban Meyer does lose his job as well.
Absolutely. So I think they're just waiting it out right now to kind of figure a backup plan before letting him go. But I do think his days are numbered right now as a coach.
I agree.
Next, so NBA today just announced all of their Christmas Day games. They normally do right before, right during August this time of year. So right now they announced Milwaukee Bucks versus the Knicks, Oklahoma City Thunder versus Houston Rockets, Philadelphia 76ers versus the Boston Celtics. Game of the day, Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron James now at Golden State, and then Portland Trail Blazers at Utah Jazz at night. So will the Golden State Warriors blow out the Lakers on Christmas Day? What's your thoughts, B?
I don't think that they will. I think it will be, at least the NBA, I think, believes these will be competitive games, and that's why they're going to be on. So at this point, I don't think they'll be blowouts. I think maybe they'll be competitive. But I got to be honest with you, and basketball fans are going to hate me. I don't watch the NBA on Christmas. I'm not into it. So.
Oh, I love it. I mean, my family, that's kind of what we do on Christmas Day. Open gifts, and we go hang out at my brother's house, watch NBA. Eat food, have drinks all day. So it's just cool to have like background stuff on while you're hanging out. But in regards to this specific game, Golden State and LA, of course, it's going to be a blowout. And the only reason is because it's in Golden State. If it was in LA, that might have been a different story. But putting it at Oracle Arena, where Golden State plays, LA's going to be better. But on Christmas Day, definitely going to be a blowout. And I'm actually kind of pissed that they made the game at Golden State because in LA, it might have been a different story. But yeah, Golden State's going to kill them.
I'm going to mark this down today and talk to you on Christmas Day 2018 and see if it was a
There we
blowout.
go.
So I know you don't think anybody cares, but people on Twitter have been caring. Fake life. We found
See?
out there's fake life. There's rumors that Def Jam will be releasing a video game, Def Jam World, featuring rappers including Eminem, J. Cole, Kendrick, Cardi B, Pusha T, and Drake. And this is a follow-up to games in the past where you would be able to pick rappers and fight each other in the game. People are excited about it. Are you excited about
Yeah, I
it?
saw your post about saying, you want to, get the game just so you can beat up Cardi B or something like that. I laughed. I thought that was a good one. It kind of depends how they're going to do it. They're going to make it like a Street Fighter type game. It depends on how they're going to make it. I guess it's a sequel. I don't remember the first one. But yeah, I'd like to see 50 Cent, fight the game, or Eminem fight Lil Dicky, or, Lil Wayne fight Drake or something like that. There's some good matchups you can make. But at the end of the day, I'm probably would get bored in about 10 minutes of playing rappers fighting each other. I think it's a silly concept. Cool for a minute, but no, I'm going to take a hard pass on this game.
Okay, well, I'm not a real video game person, so I probably won't either. But I said if I would be all over it. So fingers crossed I'll be able to do that. Otherwise, I know a lot of people are excited about the possibility of having a Drake and Pusha T fight it out. So we'll see.
Absolutely. So, and then briefly, there's a report that Snapchat, for those who don't know, have lost 3 million daily users during the second quarter earnings report. Is Snapchat finished, B?
Yeah, I think it should be. I got to be honest. I used to kind of be a Snapchat person. I don't use it anymore. It drives me crazy. I cringe at it. I don't use it. I don't like it.
I think that Instagram story kind of took over Snapchat. Like, kind of took their same idea, and I use Instagram way more. I think most people use Instagram way more to where it made Snapchat almost pointless. To where I use Snapchat few and far between. I'll go days and even forget to even have the app. So I think it's only a matter of time. Unless they switch it up, I think Snapchat days are definitely numbered.
They might be. Wah, wah,
Womp
wah.
womp womp.
Previously spoken about on Alternative Facts Chicago, the Made in America concert festival taking place in Philadelphia, put on by Jay-Z. It has been announced that it will stay in Philadelphia after meetings between, the mayor and Jay-Z. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think it was a meeting between, I think it was like the mayor and then I believe the Rock Nation COO Desiree Perez, I think her name was. I'm sure Jay Z was probably part of it, but overall, I think we just only wanted to mention it to kind of recant our statements to kind of follow up from before the fact that they were considering actually taking it away. I think it was a great move. It's brought a lot of money to Philly. The lineup's always great. It's a good concert, and I think even now they even added Pusha T and Tekashi 6ix9ine to the lineup for this year. So it's actually a dope lineup. It's got like Meek Mill, Nicki Minaj, Diplo, Zed. Like if that was in Chicago, I would totally go. It's a great lineup. So I think it's great for Philly that it's staying, and I'm glad they actually figured it out, and it's actually a good move.
Yeah, shout out to Philly.
Shout out to Philly. That's all we got.
Shout out to Philly. That's all we got. We are on to the clowns.
This is a long episode. You got to get to the clown of weeks. I need to get the hell up out of here.
Yeah.
You go first this time.
I start. Okay. My clown of the week is a woman from South Carolina. She was arrested while driving drunk. She was driving more than 30 miles over the speed limit and ran a four-way stop sign. When she was pulled over by police at 1:45 a.m., she told the officers that she wasn't drunk. She didn't think should be arrested because she was celebrating her birthday. The officers did not think that was a valid reason for blowing a stop sign and speeding through the intersection. They gave her a sobriety test, which she failed at 0.18% blood alcohol, more than twice the legal limit. She was a sorority girl and that her partner was a cop. She was even a member of the National Honor Society.
Wow.
I mean, clearly she should not have gotten in trouble after all of that. But the cop still was not buying her story, to which she told them, I'm a white, clean girl. And when the cop said they didn't know what they had to do with anything, she said, you're a cop. You should know what it means.
I don't even know what that means.
Because she's a white, she didn't think she should be arrested. Also because she got good grades her whole She also shuts it. So my icon of the week goes to her because I think it's ridiculous. And I can picture many a drunk white girls who would give the same explanation. I get good grades and I'm a cheerleader. Clearly should not get arrested. So she's my con of the week.
Awesome. And she definitely deserved that one. So my con of the week, and I hope you don't kill me over this, but I meant to mention this last week. We didn't have time, but I got to go with Dak Prescott on this one. I know he's your fellow Dallas Cowboy. I know he's your boy. But in regards to his comments around the national anthem, and here's why. I get your point that you said you wouldn't kneel during the national anthem, and his quote was, "I never protest during the national anthem. I don't think that's a time or venue to do so. The game of football has always brought me at such a peace, and I think it's the same for a lot of people playing the game, a lot of people watching the game, a lot of people that have any impact on the game." Now, I get his idea of thought that it may not be the necessary time to place. He's getting the clown of the week because I don't think it was necessary even his place, or if anything, if he felt that was the right time to say so. You know, we've had, even in Chicago, obviously what's going on with all the crime, police brutality just keeps happening. It's happened in Chicago recently, and you cannot affect or force people to pick a time to when they can protest or not protest. Clearly, things aren't necessarily changing. So if someone thinks that the best time to protest is to make a statement during the national anthem, I think you should let them be. So if you decide not to protest for it, I think that's absolutely okay. But I think, unfortunately, you're getting the clown on the week because the fact that you decided to say this right now, I think overall, Dak, you should focus on playing games and winning football games in your third season because you're playing on the most polarizing franchise in all of sports as opposed to talking about the national anthem. And when in fact, you couldn't kneel even if you wanted to because your coach said you can't. So why are you even giving your comments? And there was a poster that came out with you, tears coming out of your eyes, like the Get Out poster. You're looking like a coon right now. It's not really a good look. And unfortunately, you need to support as many people as possible because a lot of eyes are on you this season for your play on the field and for your team. So, Dak Prescott, you're getting the clown of the week. Please, in the future, just keep your comments to a minimum and go win some football games. And we got.
You thought I'm gonna get.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, B. I know. I cringed the whole time having to do that, but I had to.
You thought I'm gonna get mad, and I'm not. But I am gonna add this. Dance on the kneeling issue is well known. Obviously, I support anyone's right to protest in any shape or form they choose. Dak, I think, is in a terrible position where he's been being asked time and time again by the media about it. So I do think it was a poor choice of words. I do think not the way he should have. I do. He has a right to not kneel. That's not what's inert. Then absolutely, it's pointless for him to protest in that. But when they asked him other people, I wish he chose not to make a comment. Advice I would give him if I were advising him or as a friend or whatever is just to not have made a comment, because it's not like Dak came out and said, I'm standing up against this, people should not be kneeling. He's being asked again and again, and he has to learn how to be a professional and understand what he is trying to do, types of questions, and learn he's not going to comment on them.
Absolutely.
So where you're coming from, I don't think it was coming from him. I don't think, and it's not just because I'm a Cowboy fan, I don't think it was coming from such a negative place. I think it was that he probably didn't handle it as he should have, and so now people will judge him for it, and that's fine.
Absolutely. So we got to get out of here. It's been an incredibly long episode. Thanks for bearing with us. We had a lot to get through, a lot of good content. So this weekend, actually, I know Sunday, we're actually going to be guests on the Sensible People podcast, correct?
Yes.
So we're actually going to be out there on Sunday. Good feedback be on that one. So we'll actually be out there. More details to come when that episode actually is released. So we'll be out there. Like I said, we do have Lobster Fest coming up. North Coast coming up. We do have more guests to announce for, I think, just before after Labor Day weekend. So once the summer's over, things will slow down. And we're going to pick up back on the guests for our show. We got some big guests coming up for the fall, too. But once again, really do appreciate, all supporting the number one podcast in Chicago. And that's all I got. What else you got to add, B?
That's that. Make sure that you find us on 247liveculture.com. They feature our podcast, other podcasts, as well as all kinds of amazing content, new music, new artists to watch, articles, blogs, things like that. Also, remember you can hear us every Thursday night on WildDogsRadio.com. We are played on Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. Wild Radio plays us, as well as all kinds of new music, independent music, a variety. And so they are awesome for hosting us on their platform. We thank everyone for supporting us and for us across all different platforms. We couldn't do it without you.
Absolutely. So time to get up out of here. It's been a great episode. We really appreciate you supporting us. So we'll be back next week with episode 56. So once again, this is B Hunt with B Cham, Alternative Fact Chicago. We will be back next week. We appreciate you all, and we are out. All right. Peace.
We're out. Peace.